Hello, y'all. Amanda here. Welcome to the Unseen Hands Collective. I am going to be doing your tarot reading for the March collective shift. We'll be looking at the shape we are all shifting out of this month, the shape we are all shifting into, and what that shape shift might look and feel like for us. So this is just the tarot portion of your collective shift for March. We also have an astrology scope to loop in the planetary movements through March, and then a guidebook to help you more personally move through the collective experience. So if you'd like to partake in those for free, click the link in the description to head over to our website, unseenhandscollective.com, and join our collective shift membership for free. I don't want you to miss free stuff. That's why I'm telling you. Okay, let's get to it. So if you've been following this channel for some time, you know that for the last few months I've been working with imagery that has to do with ice. The energy, this imagery is analogous to the energy feeling frozen, feeling still in some way. And it's like there has been movement, but it's just moving in a way that is perhaps beneath the surface or less obviously visible, less palpably felt. So working with this image of ice for March, it seems to me like the ice is finally beginning to break through, because the image that's coming to me is the sun warming the ice from above, creating this melt situation. The waters of the river beneath the ice beginning to move and churn and working on that ice from below. So it's like from above, from below, that frozen layer is beginning to wear down to the point where in March, perhaps it is ready to finally crack. And so with that crack, things are opening up. Movement is able to be introduced where it was previously frozen. And it's exciting. It's a sense of freedom and also chaos, calamity. I'm imagining like ice chunks separating from the cracks, separating from each other, and then with the rush of the river colliding back into one another, this like wonderful newfound freedom and also chaos negotiation to try for these like ice pieces to find their place in this new flow. And it's once they do, you can imagine like separate ice chunks on the surface of the water flowing, then they can kind of all find their own space and flow together down the river. It's a beautiful sequence of images or the visuals that's coming through for us for March. And the cards are reflecting that really interestingly. So I want to show you, we use the Mary L Tarot here in the collective shift. And the shapeshift itself, as part of the bookend to this reading, really feels like a larger thing that's happening way beyond March. The three cards that are showing us what this experience may feel like are encompassing more specifically the March experience. So I just want to acknowledge that this shapeshift is much larger, and I think has been much larger than March. We have the star energy, Aquarius energy. We're shifting out of Aquarius season and into Pisces, Aries season here in March. And we're shifting into the Four of Discs, the Four of Pentacles, which the star is also so prominently present in. It's really beautiful. Again, if you've been following my channel for some time, you know that we're coming up on the anniversary of this struggle that we have all been collectively moving through since March 2020. And here we are, March 2021. And again, if you've been following the insight that's been coming through this work from me, the star has been our guide through the intensity of this year and through the struggle and everything that we have collectively experienced this year. The star has been coming out from this deck in particular over and over and over. So it's really beautiful to see the two cards that have been expressing that energy so present, so front and center here in March. March really feels like maybe it's the milestone of the year marker, the 12-month marker, but it feels big that these cards are coming out together here. And it feels like, the star is a guide that offers us hope in times of suffering, that offers us a sense of faith and a sense that there is something higher guiding the process. You know, it's almost like this beacon that we can focus on to maintain some semblance of solidity and direction in otherwise really intense, chaotic, you know, I'm looking at the wounds on the hand. Like, this has been a year that has brought wounds to the surface. And so it feels like moving into the Four of Discs, you know, it almost looks like this beautiful continuation of the veil of the star. It's almost like the star is becoming flesh, coming down to earth and hanging out in Earth's atmosphere in a way that is more tangible, more grounded, more real, something perhaps we can hold on to in the midst of March, which is offering us this chaos, movement, freedom, breakthrough potential. Here's what that looks like from my perspective. We're looking at the Five of Wands, which, by the way, is an energy of chaos, calamity, movement, running right into the Lovers, this Gemini energy. You know, we have the North Node in Gemini. We have Mars moving into Gemini in March. You'll hear more about that from Kevin's shift scope that she creates for y'all, so make sure you listen to that. And then we have the Eight of Discs. Again, another Earth energy, something becoming a little more real, a little more workable, a little more tangible. And there is work to be done, you know. This Earth energy wants us to begin to bring everything that we've been working with for the last year, maybe even, that's what it feels like to me, into some form of tangible system, tangible structure. You know, this Earth energy wants us to get to work with it, to begin to allow everything we've lived through in the last year to open us up to the new path or the new structure. It almost looks like a new way maybe has been paved and is just waiting for us. You know, like when I talked through these cards with Kevin and Kelsey, my cohorts in the collective, I can't remember if it was Kevin or Kelsey, but one of them noticed how it's almost like this path is a channel to hold that rushing river. You know, it's like this is the earth, the tangible structures that can hold that kind of a collective flow and that kind of movement. So there is a lot of tangible and structured energy for us to work with here, which feels really good. But the passage to get to that is through the Gemini energy and these energies with the fire energy, Gemini energy. I mean, this is Mars moving into Gemini. This is the path. This is Gemini energy is the way that we can act on all of what we have lived through in order to start to build tangibly, build new structures, build new systems, much more tangibly, create new paths perhaps. But it's like we have to do that through this Gemini energy. Gemini energy is a mental energy. It is an energy that can hold many truths at the same time and integrate them. That's what we're seeing here in the Lovers cards. In the Lovers card, I really like that this is coming out front and center in this reading. This is the card of this March energy for me. Despite the strong presence of the star, I think the actual experience of March is going to be this Gemini energy front and center. And I like that because having done all of your zodiac readings for March, all of the shift readings, and talked through them with the collective and hearing how the astro is playing into all of the energies for each sign, one thing that's being brought forth in all of the readings is truth in relationships. Finding truth in the self, which is really authenticity, through what your relationships are bringing you this month. And also finding truth in yourself so that you can then enter your relationships with a sense of authenticity, honesty. And you could also see this as, in line with the visual that's coming through, the ice chunks colliding with one another and renegotiating their place. There may be this sense of colliding with one another's energy in a way that helps us renegotiate where we fit and where we belong and what feels authentic and true and right for each of us, in our relationship structures that we create together and also in ourselves. I also love the presence of the star. Through all three cards. Overseeing this process, this negotiation. And again, it's a negotiation of truth. It's a negotiation of what is true for me, what is true for us, and how do we live out that truth authentically, with honesty. So, in your zodiac readings, you're going to hear a lot about authenticity, truth-telling, being honest, how your relationships are serving as mirrors for you and whether they are reflecting your truth back to you. And it's showing up collectively as well. Okay, beautiful. One last thing I will say for the collective. So for all the zodiac shift readings, I'm using Brian Froud's fairy deck. And I decided to pull a card from the fairy deck that's going to be our guide through March, since there is this through line energy of the star, of this energy that is serving as a guide to light the way through March. And so I wanted a fairy expression of that guide. How would the fairies conceive of this star guidance? And what came out was the Maiden, which was really unexpected to me, but so beautiful. So the Maiden energy, it's a child, it's this sweet babe who is just sparkling with innocence and curiosity, with a sense of contentment and joy and hopeful expectation, which is, I think, all of the energy that the star is wanting to bring to us through everything and all the hardships we are going through and have been going through. But it also signifies to me that we are at the beginning of something. I'm wondering if March is this breakthrough energy, whatever is breaking through for us individually, collectively, may be helping us begin to form a new path, begin to walk in a new way, hopefully a way that is more authentic, more true, and less prescribed or less based on shoulds, what we think we should do, the structures we think we should participate in. I think this Mars and Gemini is encouraging us to get really, really truthful about the structures that are actually true for us and actually feel like us. One good thing that has happened out of this year is that it's, I think, created an opening, an opportunity for us to question, again, North Node in Gemini, question so much. And even last month's collective reading was called Questioning the Vision. This is an opportunity to question the status quo and to question business as usual as we have created it up until this point, and to say, is this working for us? Do we really want to keep moving in this way? Do we really want to keep doing this? And so I'm really seeing this Four of Discs as the opportunity to create new structures and to create new pathways forward and to walk forward in truth and authenticity in the structures that we create. By the way, this theme came through in everybody's reading, but most prominently in the Aquarius reading. And since the star is here, the card of Aquarius, and we're shifting out of Aquarius energy, we've got a lot of planetary impact in Aquarius right now. It might be a reading for the collective to go check out. So check out the Aquarius zodiac shift reading for March. All right, my friends, I'm excited to see how the maiden is going to guide us. This baby energy is going to guide us as we learn how to walk in a new way, as we find ourselves back to square one in a lot of ways in terms of this new cycle of growth and development that is just beginning. All right. Thank you for joining me in this collective shift reading. Now go listen to your astroscopes, check out your collective guidebook, and we will deepen our experience here together in March.
Acknowledging the parts of you that have been guiding you all along. I think I've spoken about this, in the first few collective readings. The parts of us that have been guiding us to them the whole time, because they've been seeking their own release. Okay, it's time for us to bring both parts of ourselves up, okay, and begin this process of moving in an integrated way.